We be live. Shalom, shalom, and durud, everyone. We have this exciting guest here. Golsa is here with us. We were kind of we were almost didn't go live because me and Golsa were having a very interesting discussion about something completely different about feminism and patriot. so, so yeah, an idea, yeah, and that, and so we might decide to turn that into a show actually another day. But Golsa, before we start talking about the topic of the show, which is about many Iranians now deciding to show their support for Israel, can you let people know who you are? And also, let me actually, I already put your Instagram account in the description. Let me actually put it also in the live chat so people can follow you. But go ahead, let us introduce yourself to our audience before we get started.
Um, okay, hello everyone. I'm Golsa Golestaneh. I live in Vancouver, Canada, and I am currently working as a legal assistant. I don't know if that's relevant, but I really like to talk about things about Iran and basically share what my friends and what my family and what everyone I am connected to in Iran say, rather than just like me trying to speak over them. I think a lot of diaspora do that, and I do not tolerate that at all. And I don't think I'm an expert on anything. Whatever I talk about are things that Iranians have told and taught me. So, yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, you say you're not an expert in anything, but you made a video complaining about some Iranians who were upset about these other Iranians who were supporting Israel, and they were being called traitors and some other names. And you had an 8-minute video in Persian on Instagram that is going viral, and that's how I found you. And Sarah introduced me to you, and that's how we got connected. But your video is going it's being shared everywhere right now, which was
I didn't know that.
yeah, you didn't know that? Like, no,
There's
I'm
a
seeing it
picture.
everywhere. Yeah. It's not going, like, is it going viral on your own Instagram? Or no, it's not going as viral
No,
on your own which is unfair because
no
people
one
just
shares my
downloaded it.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you posted it on your Instagram, but it's going viral in other places. Like, people are just posting it on Telegram in different
Oh, it
places.
doesn't matter
uh,
if I go viral.
yeah.
It just matters the message was viral. So that's what good to know. I didn't know that. I just thought that it was whatever views I saw.
Yes. So by the way, Nail Bunny in the chat is saying she has fabulous hair. Yes, I
Thank you.
agree. Actually, I've noticed, like, ever since I left Iran, I've noticed how great Iranian women's hair are compared to everyone else. All like which makes it a bigger crime that the Islamic Republic tries to cover it, right? Like it's amazing that hijab is mandatory in the country that women have the best hair. Right.
That's why, because they're bald. They don't want us to.
Yeah.
I don't speak
Right.
Polish. I speak Persian.
Persian, yes.
Someone
Oh,
else.
somebody was saying Polish. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
can you tell us what the video was about? The video that went viral, like, that everybody is now
Viral.
like, oh, yeah, viral. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, it was basically about things that we hear among Iranians and what goes on, uh, like in Iranian spaces right now, and the things that they talk about, like us being warmongers or things like that, and the fact that they don't, like, some people don't think that Israel is our friend or Israel is doing this to liberate us, and that we should uh, not be looking for like regime change through this because that doesn't work. Um, and I was basically just addressing these thoughts because I think a lot of stuff are self-explanatory, and some people, just because they can't be multi-dimensional, they think that like everyone else is the same. So they just like see the surface and make a judgment based on that, and then they think everyone else is an idiot who hasn't thought this through. But the
Right.
fact of the matter is that, like, for myself personally, like getting to this point where I think that the regime cannot be removed from power unless there's military action against it. This
Mm.
has taken me now. I think I've been involved. I am very young, but I've been involved in politics since 2009, which was the Green Movement in Iran, and like it has taken me basically like all these years, of about 16 years, to come to this conclusion. And we have tried everything. We have tried peace demonstrations. We have tried uh, less peaceful demonstrations. We have tried everything that we could, but it's impossible. And I was basically in that video talking about how um, Israel definitely is not responsible to liberate us. That should not be an expectation. And actually, like that, I didn't say it in my video, but I don't think that should be the way it is advertised either, like by the Israelis, that we are like doing this, because like it might like create this expectation that okay, so you are going to do everything, you know. I think it needs
Mm.
to be clear if like um there's this expectation from the Israeli side, which they are saying it, like they have started mentioning that a little bit more. Before it was all about like we are going to remove this regime, we are going to do that, but now they're saying Iranians need to show us what they want, and Iranians need to take the final step. So that is important, because otherwise, like people wouldn't get the
Mhm.
messaging. People would assume that like there's this idea of Israel doing the entire work. So I was basically just saying that like yes, they're not gonna be doing regime change for us. They're protecting themselves, and in protecting themselves, they are in a way protecting us, because they are weakening the regime's military sites. They will probably weaken the regime's suppression forces, which they've started, like they've done some already. So we need to take advantage of this situation.
So let me repeat what you said, and let me know if I got what you if I'm understanding you properly. All right.
Mhm.
So you came to this realization that the Iranian people by themselves, with no help, with no foreign help, will not be able to remove this regime. We need external help. We need foreign help. That-
Yes.
however, we should not be. It's not the responsibility of Israel to come save us and come liberate us. We should not have this expectation of them. It's unfair to have this expectation of Israel, and Israel's responsibility is to its own citizens and to protect themselves. However, even though it's not their responsibility, we have had this great opportunity. We have become so lucky that our goals are aligned, that we share a common enemy, that given that Israel's responsibility is to its own citizens, by trying to save their own citizens, they're also weakening our enemy and giving the Iranian people the opportunity. Given that the regime is strong enough to keep suppressing the Iranian people, but now that Israel is taking actions to weaken the regime to protect their own people, the Iranian people might be given this chance to find the regime weak enough to be able to topple it.
Yes.
It's just, and this is an opportunity that the Iranian people should take advantage of. And it's at the end of the day, the final push could only be done by the Iranian people. And it's not the Israelis cannot basically do all of this for us. And the Iranians should take advantage of this opportunity, or else they would regret for decades if this golden opportunity is lost for them to change the regime. Was that a proper
Yes.
explanation of
You
what
are
you're thinking?
quicker
Yeah.
than me, yes, because I just go off with like all the stuff that
No,
pops in my head. So yes.
no, no, no,
That was like the
no,
entire eight
no,
minutes video.
no, 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 no. I was just copying you, honestly. Um. So, and when people like you and I say that, what happens is that we have some other Iranians that have now been fooled by the regime propaganda, and they're coming after us, and they're saying that we are traitors, that even if we have a problem with the regime, we shouldn't be siding with foreigners, that any attack on Iranian soil is an attack on the country, and we're selling the country, we're traitors, and we're not proper patriots, because any patriot would be siding with their own country against a foreign threat, right? That's what we are being accused of by some Iranians that the regime propaganda is working on them. So that's what's happening. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, but which side do you think has the upper hand right now? Do you think that the Iranians who are supporting the attacks, who are welcoming the fact that the top IRGC commanders are dying, who might even be grateful to Israel, because we see a lot of them on social media, a lot of Iranians right now just thanking Israel. We don't have any official scientifically collected data, but we see them all over. We see them. There's so many of them.
Mhm.
But we also see some Iranians kind of condemning us and saying that we are traitors. But I don't know if, I mean, given that we don't have scientifically collected data, it's hard to know exactly who's higher in number. I mean, if I had to guess, I think we are. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, so you cannot trust me. I think we are way more in number than them. But what do you think?
Speaking of data, I'm just gonna insert this. People I've seen cite Gammon Institute a lot, like in terms of like their polls among Iranians and stuff like that. And I used to actually trust them too. But then after the Masa Amini stuff, I realized that they would mess up the numbers in any way that they wanted. So don't trust everyone that you see online. Don't
Okay.
trust. Um,
Really? Okay.
other than that, because they appear as like opposition, but they're not really. Um, but other than that, I just think that in the media we don't have the upper hand in the media. Like I don't think that we are represented in the media very well. Um, that's a problem.
What about in reality, like in total numbers?
In reality, it's so hard to be honest for me to say. I'm always like very afraid of being in an echo chamber, but
Mhm.
I think in reality, from what I hear, no one that I know has said anything about not support, like blaming this on anyone but the Islamic Republic. I can't say that
Okay.
everyone supports Israel. I can't say that, but
Mhm.
because you can't ignore 46 years of propaganda and brainwashing that has an effect
Mhm.
on you. Even if you're against the regime, even if you resist it, even I wasn't pro-Israel all my life, like and when you're not doing research, when you're not actually independently studying about something, it is very, very difficult to form an informed opinion. So, a lot of people inside Iran and outside of Iran, because the academia is extremely against Israel. So,
Mhm.
and also the media is extremely against Israel. So,
Outside of Iran, you mean? Yeah, the academia
outside
outside of
and
Iran.
inside, both, even
Yeah. Okay.
outside.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
for me, like for I talked about this before on Yasmin Mohammed's podcast, that for me personally, the way that I came to become pro-Israel was actually because of a course that I took at York University when I was doing my MA studies, and I'd never finished it because it's like a super leftist university that I didn't like. Um, but when I was there, I was writing a paper on nationalism, and I'm just gonna like make it very quick. But I was writing this
No,
paper
tell me.
on
Tell me.
nationalism, and I was basically advocating for nationalism in Iran. I wanted to talk about how it's necessary, and
Mhm.
I was in this obviously like class that the instructor was like a communist, and like she literally had a Marx poster behind her. So I'm not just assuming things. Uh, so I was in that class, and she was forcing me to do a paper that is pros and cons. She wasn't allowing me to just talk about why it's necessary. She was like, no, you should say why it's bad and why it's good. You can't just say that it's good. And you need
Wow.
to read like I had read Fanon's Wretched of the Earth, and I was using that to advocate for nationalism in Iran. But she was saying you should read this woman's book called Home Rule. It was like an Indian author's book, Home Rule, and she was against nationalism. She was against the concept of borders. So you should read that and put all of these arguments together and then come to a conclusion. And I was like, okay. And I started reading that book, and it was filled with this information. Like when I was reading it, the things that I knew, like I didn't know much about Israel and Palestine. I had only heard things in media. I didn't know much, but I knew about Rwanda. I knew about like other places that things took place in there. And I saw that the way she's characterizing it all is very, very misconstrued, and it doesn't represent the reality. So I was like, okay, I need to go do research about Israel and Palestine. And when I did, I was like, holy shit, like this is not what the academia has been telling us. The only thing we've been hearing is pinkwashing, Israel apartheid, genocide. These are all the three terms that we've been hearing. So it's the same for Iranians inside, Iranians outside. They're exposed to propaganda. So I can't say that they all support Israel, but I can confidently say that the big, overwhelming majority blames this war on only the Islamic Republic.
Right. So I think like if we want to categorize them, there's three, like, I mean, there's other groups, but like there are three main groups. We have people who blame Israel. We have people who don't aggressively support Israel, but they also don't blame Israel. They blame Islamic Republic. And then we have people who blame Islamic Republic, but also aggressively support Israel, right? And I think maybe the middle group might be the biggest one, right? The people who are not like waving flags of Israel, or like they're not like so pro-Israel, but at the same time they're not anti-Israel. They just blame it on their group. I think that's the number one group. And then I think this. I again, I don't have any data for this. I'm just guessing based on what I know. I think the second group is our group. The second highest group is our group. The people who blame the Islamic Republic but also support Israel. And I think the third group is the minority group, the people who are anti-Israel and support the Islamic
Because they're
Republic.
pro-regime,
That's
and I
the
think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But among the Iranians who are now so they're so much spending so much time supporting Israel, and you are one of them. I mean, I'm one of them. You're one of them. What a lot of Westerners get surprised. What? Because this is a new thing for them. They thought that Iranians are anti-Israel, so it's very interesting to them to see Iranians, because right now many people from Israel are noticing Iranians supporting Israel. So even Israelis are sometimes shocked to see that. And in Toronto, in Vancouver, in New York, in LA, every time there's an pro-Israeli protest, you could also find the flags of the Iranian flags with the lion and sun. There's always Iranians joining there. And a lot of Israelis, a lot of Jews and Israelis in Western countries are noticing Iranians always being there to support them. If you had to explain this to people, why are so many Iranians supporting Israel? Why are they becoming more and more in number? Do you have an explanation for that?
I think it's different for everyone. I think some people definitely see this as uh, like a mutual enemy kind of thing, and they're like, okay, my enemy's enemy is my friend, and that is it. Some people see it as having a shared history together, us and the Jewish nation, and how we have struggled against oppression together, and how we have helped each other throughout history. During the rule of Cyrus the Great, then during the Pahlavi era, and all these times in between that things happened in Iran, and how like when Islam conquered Iran, Iranians also paid a huge price, and Iranians were also colonized, and it wasn't like, you know, we were sharing these lands together and then they took it over, and Jewish people, Zoroastrians, everyone paid the same price. So it wasn't like we were marginalizing a group, we were all marginalized. So I think there's that. And then there's also the concept of right or wrong. You know, for me it's just the right thing to do, because
Mm,
all the facts and historical facts, current event facts, all of it, if you analyze it impartially, all of it points at Israel being righteous. So
mm,
I don't get why I should not be pro-Israel. Um, I think this anti-Israel sentiment is very, very much an Islamic sentiment. I know that other ideologies, other religions have also targeted Jewish people, but for me, I have not experienced like Christianity's oppression. You know, so like for me that's not relevant. For me, Islam is relevant, and
mhm,
as someone who rejects Islam, I cannot support any kind of hatred that Islam promotes. Even if Islam didn't promote it, obviously I wouldn't support it. But I just cannot, like, in good conscience, like, be like, well, Islam orders to kill all non-Muslims, and I'm not a Muslim. But when Islam takes this position about the Jews, and takes this position, like when Shias take this particular position about Israel and the existence of a Jewish state, then I'm gonna side with them. No, I'm not, because the same way that they will destroy them, and they want to annihilate them, they want to do it to me too. And even if they didn't, I still wouldn't side with an ideology that wishes to bring death and destruction anywhere.
yeah, and I don't know if I'm allowed to mention this, because we already mentioned this on the Persian channel, so I'm assuming I'm also allowed to mention it here.
Yeah, for sure.
But you also, yeah, you lost your job for because of your anti-Islam position. Do you want to mention that? Because a lot of people might.
Yeah, what do you want me to tell about?
So you had what was like you had a job with the government of Canada, right? And you had some anti-Islamic posts on
Tweets.
social media, and that
Yeah.
was reported, and then they fired you from your work in Vancouver for with your government job. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so basically what happened was that they found out where I worked. Like, I have enemies, so they were like stalking me for like months and complying on my anti-Palestine, anti-Islam tweets, and even some tweets about like political, like, figures related to Iran. You know, like I was like,
Mm,
then I was making jokes about them. You know, a lot of stuff were reported, but I had to go through this whole process. I wasn't fired immediately, so it was a long, like 2 months long process. I was first suspended, then security investigated me to see if I'm a security threat and if my security clearance should be revoked. And security came to conclusion that I am not a threat and I just need some diversity and inclusion training. Uh, I and then I went through the training. I had like 15 something trainings to do. Like, it was diversity and inclusion, anti-racism, anti-hate, blah blah blah, and then a bunch of like accounting and human resources trainings, because they said that they don't trust me anymore to work on the front lines with refugees and I need to be in the back. So they wanted me to change my position. I was like, okay, I did the trainings. It took me like 10 days and I finished them. And then after that, I had a final interview with my manager who I had never spoken about this issue with before. And they had seen all of my tweets at that point, all of the investigations, reports, and everything, and all the previous interviews, transcriptions. So in that final interview, they asked me that, like, in this page, you said that you are sorry for what you've done. So what exactly are you sorry for? And they wanted me to say that I'm sorry for what I have said about Muslims and Islam. But I was like, I'm just sorry that they found out that I work in the government, that I said anything that made it clear that I am here and might have like made you look bad. But my position about Islam and Muslims doesn't change. And then they fired me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You should have told them that I'm just so sorry that you're a bunch of pussies, that, that you're a bunch of snowflakes. That's what I'm
It's
sorry about.
honestly, it's so ironic to me because well, I even now I work with refugees. You know, I work with a lot of Iranian refugees, and back then I was seeing
Mhm.
the cases coming in, and a lot of people, anyone coming from Muslim majority countries, they're like, I hate Islam. I hate Muslims. They suck. They want to kill us all. They didn't let us breathe. They didn't let us live. I don't want to be in a Muslim country. They're like everyone is like hate, 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 hate. Like literally say that I hate them. You know, like it's very
Okay.
clearly stated. And then their refugee cases get accepted. But then this person says I hate Muslims. You accept them into this country, and you accept the Muslims into the country as well, and you want them to just kumbaya after that. Like they're gonna hate each other, and it's gonna be a
Yeah.
problem for you. Like I am allowed to be a refugee who hates Muslims, but I'm not allowed to be a government employee who hates Muslims. That just makes no sense. Like I can't erase my identity. And they were saying that you have no right to publish anything about your opinions online.
What?
You can't say anything, even like a personal account, whatever. Even if you go anonymous, you have no right to say anything political, social, whatever. You don't have a right to opinion. So
That's
I said
crazy.
bye.
Okay. The level of control, this level of censorship. Do you? I think that might have something to do, also, other than the factors that you pointed out, about why Iranians are so pro-Israeli,
Mhm.
is because they're also very anti-Islam, and I think the two go hand in hand because they see Israel also fighting, uh, Islamists, so they
Yeah,
like that, and that's why they,
exactly.
yeah. And also, other than Islam, the whole Palestinian cause, the Iranian people have paid a huge price for the so-called Palestinian cause, because the so-called Palestinian cause is something invented by the Islamic Republic,
Mhm.
as a way to export its revolutionary ideology beyond its border. And the whole point of the Palestinian cause was to basically spend the wealth and resources of Iran
Mhm.
by the Islamic Republic outside of Iran's border for their Shia empire. That's the whole point of the, like. I don't know if I don't think that many so-called Palestinians understand that they're just tools in this game by the Islamic Republic. Like, it's not the Palestinian cause is not about the so-called Palestinians. They're just being used by the Islamic Republic. The whole agenda is something completely different than the people in Gaza. The people in Gaza are being used for the Shia empire to be built. That's the whole point of all of this. And the this Shia empire is being built with the blood of the so-called Palestinians and the wealth and resources of the Iranian people. So the so-called Palestinians haven't yet realized that they're being used this way, but the Iranians have realized that they're being used this way, and that's why they are so hateful towards this whole anything that has anything to do with Palestine, and that's why they support Israel, because a lot of them hate this so-called Palestinian cause. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think there's a reason that just there's a
No worries.
reason that there's this difference, and that's that. Well, the sense of nationalism for Palestinians, it's a national identity. They have made it into a national identity. But for Iranians, the national identity has been erased. And the government has, attempted to erase it. The government has attempted to suppress any sense of belonging to the nation of Iran and to Persia and to our history. So they have been against it because we are being colonized. We are not being used as tools in that sense of like being tokens. We are being
Mm-hmm.
colonized. We are basically being just flat out suppressed. But Palestinians are being brainwashed with this ideology, with this Palestinianism, thinking it's a very separate entity and identity from being Israeli. And like that, they have
Mm-hmm.
like a whole other sense of being that, and this nation needs to exist because it's their right, because they like for whatever reason they think it's their right. But I think that's one of the main reasons that, like, for them, it's way more intertwined with their purpose in life and their identity. They just cannot see beyond that. And maybe if for us, it was the same, maybe if the government's advertisements were more intertwined in that way of like Iranian rather than Islamic, maybe it would have been the same for us. Like maybe we would have
Mm.
reacted the same, but maybe we would have bought into it. But for us, like because like Iranians, even like in history, when we were just Persia, when we were like Iran, like I mean we weren't Iran back then, but in that time we we basically did conquer other places. We did do those kinds of things. And like right now, we are not hating on that history, because it's still like in the name of Iran. I think like every country in the world, like people when like they have like that national kind of point of view, that nationalist point of view, like they don't regret doing things in the name of like the benefits of that nation. So like in the past, like we don't hate our history of like conquering places the same way we hate like how things are happening in our name right now because of Islam. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think to be fair, um, we when we were conquering was the norm, and also to be fair, like Cyrus the Great, when he was conquering, he was doing it with much higher standards and much more peacefully and more tolerant than anyone else around him at
Oh
that
yeah,
time,
for
right?
sure.
So
Yeah,
that's the
he was
and
unexpected.
but
Example.
also the whole conquering being a not okay thing is based on this current new modern standard that we have. So it's not fair to, I think, judge to apply today's standards and on back then. The only problem is with, for example, with religion, is that it tries to bring those days standards and apply it to modern day. That's the problem with religion. But uh, we basically, we now live in a time that we have nation states. Everybody has their own borders, and everybody have the right to their own determine their own destiny. And we look down upon conquering and anything that challenges any country's border integrity. That's why we stand against Putin. But again, these are modern standards, so I don't think you could use them to judge what kings and emperors did before. But
No, I
also
get
regarding the, yeah,
I get it.
go
I
on.
get what you mean. Like I don't mean to like compare that day's I like mindset, like how we like were on previously like in history to now. I'm
Right.
just saying that like when it's in the name of a nation, it's different. Rather than when it's in the name of
No,
an
I mean,
ideology and in suppression of that nation.
Right, right.
What
I
do you
mean,
mean?
I mean, if I'm I consider myself a patriotic, uh, pro-Iranian nationalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't support you if once we become a secular democratic country. I wouldn't support expansionist like Iran, my country, trying to expand its borders and attack its neighbors. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't consider that okay. So yeah, so but let me go back to the thing regarding you said about the Palestinian identity, because you said the Palestinian identity, the Palestine thing identity is about them having their own nation state as a national identity. I honestly don't see the so-called Palestinian identity as a national identity at all. I think that's what they have been trying to sell it at to Westerners and to the rest of the world. But honestly, when you go to Palestine, I mean, I've been to Palestine. I talked to people there.
Mm-hmm.
The so-called Palestinian identity is only an anti-Israeli identity. It has
Yeah,
nothing to do with their want for the so-called pro-Palestinian Westerners. They think that this cause is about Palestinians having their own nation. They want Israel to be erased more than they want a nation.
yeah.
In fact, I don't even know if they want a nation. They just want Israel erased.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know if that's for everyone there. Like, I feel like for Hamas, that's definitely the case. I don't know about Palestinians because I haven't been in touch with them, so I can't really have a judgment. Like I can't.
Right.
I think though, like this whole thing, I did mention that it's just a rejection of an Israeli identity and like this delusion that there is this
Not just their identity, their very existence.
yeah, for sure, because
Yeah.
of Islam, because of like this whole
I,
judgment.
and honestly, not just like I've been to Palestine. I talked to atheist Palestinians. They also think like this.
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like for Iranians, like I know there are even some Iranians who supposedly are even monarchists, who actually were pro IRGC. You know, I've known
Right.
that those kinds of Iranians. So I
Yeah, I've
think like
seen that
sometimes
too.
like people can have these messed up
Yeah.
views of like everything like being justified in the name of like a concept of a country's powers, like a nation's powers, like not really recognizing what it's doing to a people. um
Yeah.
so I don't know, like I think like maybe they're similar to Palestinians, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being similar, another reason why I think let me know what you think about this. Another reason why I think Iranians are supporting Israelis more and more these days, and it's increasing. The trend is like basically is rapidly increasing. Like whatever the number is, I don't know, but I can tell that it's increasing. Uh, Another reason I think is that they're just so much alike. I mean, you pointed out their love for their land and their ancient history, but also their fight for life. The fact that they are surrounded by this cult of death, but
Yeah,
they are people who actually want to live. They want to have prosperity. They want to have well being. They want to have peace. They want to have security. They want to have progress. They want to have technology. They want to have economic activity. They want to be able to see their children have a better future. They don't want martyrdom. They don't want to, as many Muslims say, they don't love death more than other people love life. They actually love life. They're on team life.
yeah,
And I think in the Middle East, uh, they are the main two groups on team life versus everybody else that seems to be being taken over by this cult of death. So they see each other and they recognize that they seem to be on the same side of this, and that might be another reason why they're natural allies. What do you think? Is that another reason why
yeah,
they might be
for sure.
supporting each other?
Yeah, I think we have seen this ideology is for what it is, like both of our
Mm.
nations. So we know it. Unfortunately, the more you are aligned with that ideology, the less clearly you see things. So I think that's
Mm.
probably the issue with Palestinians. Um, but like in our previous live, I was saying that I think they allowed a lot of things that Hamas did to take place. So they gave them the opportunity to build tunnels under their homes, or like they never resisted. They never tried to make it a known fact or try to raise awareness about it. You know, but Iranians would never allow such a thing to that extent in that way. If they could stop it, or if they could at least raise awareness about it, they would. And that's why it's a little different, the things that are happening in Iran right now. But yeah, I think this whole idea of dying for a purpose, or hoping to see the fruits of your whole life's existence after death rather than when you're living, that is a very
Mm.
dangerous mindset. And that can make you do horrific things just because you think you will see the outcome later. Even if you think the outcome is gonna be bad, you're like, at least I'm not gonna enjoy it in this life, so we'll see if there's something in the next life. So
Mm.
it just lets them do whatever. And this whole tying your purpose to death is just, it's gonna bring death for other people.
Mm. To be fair, there are some people in Gaza and who are rising up against Hamas. I don't know. I don't think they're the majority, but they do exist.
Yeah.
And there are some people from that area who are actually. We even have somebody here in our chat. I don't know if he's here right now. His name is Zaid. He comes from so-called Palestine, and he's a proud Zionist right now. Okay, so um, I mean, he comes here with a fake name because he's kind of dangerous for him. But I mean, I just don't want to generalize. I just want to say they do exist.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but are you optimistic though about the direction things are heading? Like, are we witnessing the toppling of the regime in Iran, and then are we heading towards having a secular democracy and bringing back the Pahlavi dynasty? And Reza Pahlavi is going to be crowned as the king, and Iran and Israel are going to be strong allies, bringing secularism, trade, and prosperity to the Middle East. And finally, we're going to have peace in the Middle East. Is this the beginning of that? Are we gonna? This is that's what's happening right now. What do you?
That's the hope, but honestly, I don't know. I never, I never want to have my hopes too high. I just don't want to. Every time that I've been very hopeful, something horrific has happened. Um,
Yeah.
and
Right.
on this scale, I'm very terrified of potentially something horrific happening, because then that horrific thing it means no Iran anymore. So
Mm.
it's life or death. But I think whatever happens, um, Israel will come out of it as a victor. But for Iran, it really depends on the people.
Mm. You're right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Because either it's that. I mean, I can just imagine right now. Imagine like let me give you an image. Imagine having Israeli tourists in Isfahan 5 years from now. Like,
Yeah. Honestly, I just think yeah. I just keep
that's
thinking
beautiful.
about the possibility of this really being the the beginning of their end, and our beginning again. And it just makes me so emotional, and at the same time I think of the possibility of it being the opposite, and it really screws up um with my head. But I don't know, like I really hope it gets to a good conclusion because um, it's the best for everyone. I'm a little bit hopeful, thinking maybe finally Europeans and Americans have come to the
Uh-huh.
conclusion that what they did to Iran in 1979 backfired really badly, and that they are paying the price now.
Oh,
Like,
don't get your hopes up regarding Europeans coming to that conclusion ever. like no,
yeah,
forget the
honestly,
Europeans.
Europeans are freaking killing me.
Yeah.
But like, I hope that this whole pro-Palestine demonstrations and
Mhm.
like everything, like all the violence and everything, I hope that it has sent them a message of thinking, okay, we are not gonna help, which we never do. We didn't help the Jews against the Nazis. We just like are unhelpful people, unless it's like knocks us on the door and like the missiles are literally in our backyard. But we are not gonna stop it either. You know, like I hope that because like
Well,
they said,
France is stopping it. France is trying to stop it right now as we speak. I don't know.
honestly,
Macron
France
is.
can try to stop the riots in their own country. They're just so fucking like
Yeah.
useless. I don't care what France says. Like you guys
Hey,
just go try and
no,
manage
hey,
your
our French followers, we love you. Don't.
with their government.
But
You
let me
know, like your government
before.
sucks.
Yeah, your government. Yes. Yes. Macron specifically. Okay, let's just be honest. By the way,
Yeah,
Sarah is here. Sarah saying hi. Like
yeah.
Sarah is
I said
responsible
hi to
for us
her.
meeting. Sarah introduced us, so Sarah is here. She just. By the way, Sarah is was just came back from a protest. Sarah is
What was
so
the
active
protest?
everywhere. I think she was in front of the Islamic Republic's embassy in I don't know which city, protesting in support of Israel and Pahlavi. I think that's what she was doing. But thank you, Sarah,
In
for all your
15 minutes,
activism. You're
there's like a
amazing.
leftist anti-war protest here in Vancouver. But
I Yeah, I think she was counter protesting the anti-war protesters or something like that, if I
yeah, I
remember
did that
correctly.
like 2 days ago too.
Oh, you did that? That must have been exhausting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sucked.
Okay. Okay, so let me actually paint the. So I painted a beautiful picture for us to look forward to, like Israel and Iran united allies, a secular democracy. Pahlavi is back in Iran. We have two Iranian tourists in Israel, Israeli tourists in Iran. I mean, there are a lot of for Jews, especially in Iran. There's a lot to visit because there's a lot of their history is there, right? So that's the beauty. And there's a lot of trade happening between these two countries, and they're also having positive effects on the whole region because of that. So that's the positive picture. Here's a negative one. Okay, so honestly, like I agree with you. I think it's going to be positive for Israel either way because Israel is just like just crushing it. Like I think Israel is so good at eliminating its enemies. So I'm not that worried about Israel, but I am like you. I am very worried about Iran because one outcome, and again, if this happens, you're right. I think it's the Iranian people didn't make the right decision. I think maybe that if we get this outcome, because the Israeli people are doing everything that they have to that they need to do. It's now the whole choice is upon the Iranian people now, right? So imagine if Israel is continues this war and it defangs the regime. The nuclear sites are taken out. The missile sites are taken out. The regime is crippled. All the proxies are gone. The regime has no more capabilities to be a threat to Israel, the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf, or American bases around the region. But it doesn't fall. Trump comes in and signs a deal, it's not a deal anymore. It's a full surrender. They sign a full surrender by the Islamic Republic.
Mhm.
And we continue to have Islamic Republic, but it has been completely defanged in a way that it's no threat to Israel or Americans or anyone else in the region. But it continues to be powerful force, unfortunately, against Iran. It survives this, it stays in power, and it becomes even more aggressive than ever against the Iranian people. The economy collapses, the regime stays in power, and it becomes more brutal than ever. It goes back to being like it was in the 80s. And because of all the people who supported Israel, it brings back mass executions. And the Iranian people will be stuck with this regime, even though Israel doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Mhm.
Is, is that what you worry about as well? Like that's the scenario that I'm worried about. And if that happens, the reason why that might happen is because even though Israel came and did everything, the Iranian people didn't take this opportunity and they didn't come into the streets to topple the regime, or maybe they did and it didn't work. That's yeah, exactly. Somebody's saying that's a scary thought. Is that the scenario that you're worried about? That's what I worry about.
That and Iran being torn into pieces.
How likely do you think that is? Like you're gonna have Iran being cut in pieces?
I think it's likely.
So, okay,
If
you're
if
making
we
me
are
even
if
more
we
worried.
don't really if we don't show that we are a united nation, we will be a torn apart nation
Yeah,
sooner
and
or later.
I worry about the disappointment of the Israel, because imagine the Israeli people are basically doing everything that they are supposed to be doing, right? But then, if at the moment that all the opportunities were given to the Iranian people, if they are a no-show at that moment, then imagine I worried about how are we going to look to the Israel, because the Israelis looked at us with so much hope, because they like, yes, we are helping Iranians, and at the moment, at that final moment, the Iranian people will rise up and take their country back, and they did everything and they didn't. And then I worry about the disappointment, about, I feel about the shame, the promises made, and not being none of that being delivered. So that's something that keeps me up at night. Do you
Um,
think?
well, I think like first and foremost, we should like be ashamed of the future generations because we deprive them of living in a free Iran forever. Because I don't think there will be one after this if we don't get our shit together, you know. But but yeah, I don't think I will be alive to really see the disappointment or anything. I'm just gonna adieu and go. I'm not gonna continue life
Oh,
if that happens. Like it's just not worth it anymore. But I'm just gonna
whoa.
see what happens.
Okay, this is getting very depressing. Like life
Personally,
was
for
kind of.
me, it's like very life or death. Like I was like, yeah, like, because like as I said, like in the other Persian life, like I don't see any um future in Canada for myself or anywhere else outside of Iran. And not seeing a future is not an easy thing to go through every day. So
Mhm.
my only hope is that Iran will be freed. And if I see that like we don't get this done, then I think we will never get it done anymore.
So you are very invested in Iran being liberated because you don't want to live outside Iran anymore,
Yeah.
and you want to. For you, this is a matter of life and death, because you
Hmm.
cannot live outside of Iran, and you cannot go back to Iran
And
unless
for
Iran is
Iran, it's a
liberated.
matter of life or death. And like when we
Yeah.
say like if there's no Iran, then my body won't be here anymore. Like I'm not kidding. You know.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that happens, please stay in touch with us, because I don't like I want to make sure that we can. Talking to people is very helpful when you're feeling very depressed. Okay, so
Mhm.
like don't give up, please. Like this is getting okay. I don't know what
I
to
mean, we
say. I
shall
don't
see
know.
what happens in Iran. Like I think that's more important than what happens to me.
Okay. Well, okay. I see. Like I'm gonna change the topic because this is depressing.
Yeah, that's right.
Let
Suddenly,
me
out of
actually highlight
surrounding
this.
laughter.
Like, there are
Yeah,
more
I
super
muted
chats
their
before this.
comment.
I will get to this. I'm just gonna respond. What I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna ask your opinion about this one, but I will get to the rest of super chats at some point. The Aviv 2011 is saying it seems like abroad Iranians are very pro-Israel, while Iranians inside Iran are less supportive and maybe against Israel strikes on Tehran, etc. That's not what I'm. That's not the sense that I'm getting. I think the reason why you might think that is because the government and leftists are highlighting maybe the pro-regime propaganda. But I mean, both me and Golsa, we're in touch with Iranians inside Iran, and I'm getting nothing but support for Israel, honestly. Like, what are you getting, Golsa? So I don't know. I mean, this is not a scientifically collected data, but I mean, at least where I'm, the people, like all the people that I'm getting messages from Iran, they're only supporting Israel. But Golsa, what about you? What's your experience?
I'm not getting anything anti-Israel.
Nothing. Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm getting only support for Israel. There are some people that don't care. You know, they just don't
Mhm.
care. They just want to live. But everyone's blaming the Islamic Republic.
Okay. Yeah. So Daviv, I mean, you might be right, Daviv, but it also might. I think it's more likely that you're getting that perspective because the leftists and the Islamists are basically just trying to show that. I mean, remember, Iranians in Iran have to be very, very careful about what it's like. The pro-Israelis in Iran, they cannot just come out and publicly say that, hey, we support Israel. Like that's a very fast way for them to get eliminated very quickly. So um, you might be getting only one. It's not a very good way of like the people that we talk to and our private servers with people with without showing their identity. They're constantly like the ones that I'm at least in touch with. They're constantly supporting Israel, but it's just you're not going to see them coming out waving Israeli flags because the regime is just going to crack down on them very fast. But
Even now,
also
they're
when it comes,
cracking down on them, even though they
yes,
haven't
they're
done that.
not. The regime has promised to come and do a wave of executions after this is over. So this is another reason why the regime we need to topple the regime, because if the regime is not toppled after this war, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be paying a heavy price because the regime is noticing how many people. And here's another reason, Gosa, why I know there are many pro-Israelis inside of Iran,
Mhm.
because Sedo Sima, the Iranian TV station and radio and everything, they're constantly coming out and saying, stop supporting Israel. We will find you and we will execute you because you were supporting Israel. Like, why are they constantly putting the messages out there to Iranians inside of Iran, warning people about supporting Israel, unless there were many people, unless the regime itself is noticing that there's a lot of pro-Israeli messages being inside Iran. Like, so that's another way to judge, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you think
exactly.
that's yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Let me see. Okay, we're getting a lot of super chats, but I do wanted to before I get to the super chats, I did wanted to ask you about when you said we should get our shit together. Isn't one way of getting our shit together is to stop the infighting and all of us getting united around Reza Pahlavi?
Yeah,
Isn't that like the only way that we could get this done?
that's exactly it.
That's exactly it. Okay. Do you
But
want
I
to
don't
explain
know.
to people? The,
I don't know if people like. I don't know if that's happening, if it's not happening, but like we don't have any other choice but to find a leader that um, at least has a history and has a background that shows he's committed to the values of democracy and freedom for the Iranian people. We don't have many alternatives, and even if we did, it really matters whether or not these alternatives have a popular standing in Iran. And I think the crown prince is like the only person who has that standing, and it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people because a lot of people are just too proud to admit it, too proud to admit that they made a mistake in 1979, too proud to admit that in 46 years they could not create any other alternative figure, any other party, any other thing that would be anywhere close to Reza Pahlavi, and too proud to admit that they themselves are not alternatives. Some people, just because they have gone to prison in Iran, just because they have been in Iran while the Islamic Republic was there and they have tried to resist it, they think that alone makes them qualified to be an alternative figure. But that's not enough. And I think it's very important that people just step on this pride and face reality and act for Iran, not for their self-interest.
Right. I see a lot of Western media covering Reza Pahlavi these days, but unfortunately, there's also a lot of YouTube videos I thought they were unbiased analysis YouTube videos that I'm watching and following, and a lot of them are suggesting that Reza Pahlavi is not very popular inside Iran, and that his father was a dictator and he was oppressing the Iranian people, which all of that could not be farther from the truth. And we have so much data to show that even within Iran, most Iranians support Reza Pahlavi, and also all the accusations against the Pahlavi dynasty being oppressors and torturing people. We all know that that was all false, but those rumors are being spread on social media again, which all kind of shows that Pahlavi is becoming the main threat to the Islamic Republic. That's the only reason why these accusations are now getting momentum again, because he's a threat to them, right?
Mhm.
We did get a super chat. Somebody, I don't know if you want to answer this question. Empty, I will get to your super chat and other people's super chat soon as well. But because it's relevant, I want to see how Golsa will respond to this. Delta is saying, Armin, I'm American. What can I do to help Reza? What do you think? How would you respond to this?
That's a very good question.
Call your congressman. Tell them to meet with Reza Pahlavi. Maybe call your politicians, the senator, congressman. Tell them that they need to
Can they
support Reza Pahlavi.
endorse a foreign figure? Like, I don't know if they can. Like, if they
They ca-
can, like, if like congressmen and like political figures in the US can actually like are illegally allowed to endorse a foreign figure, then like yeah, tell them to do that.
I
But I
mean,
don't think that's a possibility.
yeah. Also, Amir is saying maybe you could support Nufti. That's the institution that Reza Pahlavi is now working with. NUFDI. So Amir, that's a good suggestion. So, but also telling your politicians to just meet with Reza Pahlavi, that would be a good idea, right? And
Yeah.
also, yeah,
And also maybe telling Trump to like stop um screwing our brains. He's just like one day it's like maybe I will attack. Maybe I
yeah,
will, maybe controlling Trump a little bit.
yeah. Actually, what do you say to Americans who say like Trump should stay out of this, America should stay out of this? We should focus on America. This is not our problem. A lot of Americans are saying that. What would you say to Americans who say that?
Well, I don't know how long Israel can go on its own, to be honest. Israel is doing a lot and fighting wars on three fronts at the moment, and I don't know how long that can go on for, like four fronts actually, because there's also like Israel itself. But I don't know how long that can go on for, and we also need to bust those bunkers, and I don't think we have like there's like like there's the power to do that right now. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think at least this whole idea of negotiating and talks and stuff, which he's still insisting on, I think that should stop.
That
Like
should stop.
that should
Yes.
stop, because like that is, I'll tell you what is scaring Iranian people the most right now, those inside Iran, what they're most stressed out about, it's when they hear the news of talks. And he keeps mentioning them. So it's like really psychologically affecting people.
So, right, like, let me tell you the just latest news before I talk to you. I was following the news. Let me tell you what's up there. So, Trump is really, really trying to still get a deal to stop
Yeah.
this war right now that Netanyahu has started, and Erdogan in Turkey is trying to help Trump to get a deal with the Islamic Republic so the war stops. And they were trying to get them Americans to meet with Arakci in Istanbul. However, this is the good thing. That meeting was canceled because Arakci and Pezeshkian cannot get a hold of Khamenei because Khamenei is hiding, and they needed Khamenei to green light that meeting, but they
It's like
cannot
Daniel
get a
Packing
hold of
wasn't
him.
a good idea after all.
Yes. So because if Khamenei he's hiding in a hole, and if he communicates with them, then they are worried that their location will be. I mean, Khamenei shouldn't be that worried because probably Mossad already knows where he is, but they think that Mossad will figure out where he is right now. So the negotiating team needs Khamenei to greenlight that meeting to have that negotiation, but because they can't communicate with him, the negotiation is not going through. So this is so beautiful. Even though Trump wants to talk to the regime, the IDF is hunting Khamenei in such a way that they cannot even talk to each other to
It's
make
like
it happen.
Kanye doesn't have internet, huh?
Yeah, yes, that's great. Oh my god, it's so beautiful that all of the stress and that they made the Iranian people feel. They're basically, this is a taste of their own medicine. I'm enjoying them having to go through all of that. Oh, by the way, yeah, go on. You want to say, but before I
No,
highlight
I
this
don't want
comment,
to
you want to
say.
say something? Okay, okay. Susanna, which is my
Thank you.
co-host and the CEO of Atheist Republic, she's saying thank you for being on the show, Golsa John. I hope your family and friends are safe.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I wasn't in touch with my dad for 2 days because of the internet was cutting in Iran, and I was stressing the f out. I wasn't showing it on the shows, but it was so freaking stressful. But eventually, I managed. The internet came back somewhat, and we got a message from him, and he's fine. But that was such a stressful experience to not
Yeah.
know if your dad is alive or not. Yeah. Okay, so let me. I know, like, by the way, guys, this is 3 hours of Golso's time. I already took 2 hours of her time on the Persian channel. So let me just go through the super chats because I don't want to make you. I know you must be getting so tired after me taking so much of your time. I really appreciate you being so generous with your time, by the way, Golso. So
Thanks.
let me. Yeah, yeah. So we got a super chat saying Javid Shah, Javid Shah, Javid Shah. Yes, so for people who don't know, that means long live the king. Is that the best translation? Javid Shah, I think long live the king. Yeah, okay.
Long live, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the best translation. MT was saying, yes, Iranians have to rise up. American support depends largely on that. Please don't squander this opportunity. We're rooting for you guys. Yeah, I mean, I hope so as well. It's not in our hands, but me and Golsa, I mean, it seems like Golsa is even more invested in this than I am. Like, it seems like I actually feel Golsa. When I went to Discord, the Persian Discord, after we finished our Persian channel, I was talking to the people there, and I told them that I felt so bad for like everything you went through. Like, I was feeling really, really sad. Like, so I really wish the best for you. Like, that was like devastating listening to your what you had to go through and all the things that you're hoping for. I really hope things turn out better for you. Okay, like, I'm rooting for
Mm.
you.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
yeah. Oh, by the way, if things turn out good, then the Iranians forever will have to be grateful to Israel. Like, I love the idea of Iran's freedom because a lot of Iranians might not like that we had to depend on another country for this to happen. but I actually would love having our freedom, our secular democracy be thanks to Israel, because that would mean that like we will be our countries will be intertwined with each other forever. Like the our new beginning, our new genesis would be with Israel. So I don't know. I'm assuming we're going to have squares named after Israel or IDF soldiers as a thanks to them, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But I like the idea. I saw this chat. It's not a super chat. Something in this chat in the chat, but it's not a super chat. It's just so funny. I wanted to highlight this. Wonder Freedom is saying, "Do Iranians have radios?" Golsa, how do you respond to that? Do we have radios?
We don't have free radios, no.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
really
no, we
doesn't
don't.
matter if we have radio when we can't really use it. So,
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. All right, let me quickly go through the other super chats. Well, guys, we got so many super chats. We have 10 more super chats. Let me go through them. Shana saying Ben Shapiro has mentioned clear and positive statements about Iranians versus IGC. Uh, don't looks like it's becoming more mainstream to see friendship. Yeah, I mean Ben Shapiro knew about this. It's not recently. Ben Shapiro was informed about this for ages. So kudos to him. This is not something that he just recently became aware of. But yeah, more it is becoming more mainstream. John is saying, what is this? I don't understand this one.
frustrates me how
Plus,
Iranians are not centered at
oh,
all by West liberals, which should know better. Partisan rage blinders. We must escape Iraq mentality. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me
wait,
to
what?
explain?
What's
Which part are you like
what?
confused?
I don't like the idea of Western liberals. Don't call them liberals. Western liberals are have their. Let me tell you what I think when it comes to. I consider like somebody like Ben Shapiro to be a liberal. I don't know. They don't. I know they don't refer to themselves as liberals. I think you should use the word progressive, Western progressive, because
But they're not
liberals
even
on our own.
progressive.
What?
They're not even progressive.
Yeah, you're right. What should we call them then? Woke,
Well,
Wokestani Mujahideen.
yeah.
Like, no,
No,
yeah,
I
but
just call them pro-Palestine mobs. Like I don't
pro
even
Palestine mobs.
bother give them like a fancy name.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to be nitpicking, John. But I don't like calling these people liberals, because we are liberals. Okay, and again, liberal is not a left term. Like you have right leaning liberals, you can have left leaning liberals. These are anti-liberal, and also these people, they themselves will say that they are not liberal. They don't use the word liberal to refer to themselves. One of their famous quotes sayings there. I don't know if you heard of this, Kosa. They say, cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds. This is what the so-called progressives
I
say
haven't heard
often,
it.
because if you never heard that before, because they think liberalism and fascism are basically the same thing. So
Mhm.
these people are not liberals themselves. Yes. Also, John is saying yes. Many call themselves libs, but are progressives. Yes. Yeah. I don't think they even call themselves liberals.
I think
Yeah.
the ones who call them liberals are conservatives. I don't know, like
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah. I
it's also
think
a problem that
some.
like the Liberal Party here, for example, in Canada is called the Liberal Party. That plays into
Yeah.
like calling them liberals. You know, they're
Yes.
not.
Yes. I know. I know. That's why so many people who actually are liberals are call themselves classical liberals
Yeah,
as a way to differentiate themselves from these other people. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, otherwise, I agree with you, John. Yam is saying, what is this? No electro boom. I don't know what this is. Persian in Canada anti regime. What is this? This is why I need
No,
Susanna.
Electro boom. Persian in Canada anti-regime is, I think,
I don't understand this.
it says.
But anyways, but yeah,
Says-
Susanna usually understands these. When she's here, she understands all of this better than me. Empty saying Israelis decided some of them will lose their lives, but they have to act for their for the sake of their children, grandchildren. Iranians have to do the same. Okay, that's fair, but to be fair to Iranians, the laws, like when Israelis are armed, okay, Iranians are unarmed. So yes, there's a price that. What do you think? Also, you're laughing, you're smirking.
No, I am agreeing with you.
Yes, yes. So it's very difficult to. I mean, you guys have shelters. You guys have a powerful army defending you. Um, and we don't even have sirens like.
We don't even
Isn't
have
it crazy?
electricity.
Yes,
We have
there
nothing.
is no when bombs are being dropped, even in the capital city in Tehran, there are no sirens warning people. The Iranian people in Tehran, they're listening to Israeli announcements to figure out what to do because their regime is giving them nothing. Their own regime is giving them nothing. This is insane. Iranian people in Tehran, they're tuned into Israel to know what to do to stay safe. This is how insane the situation is. And here's another insane situation. There's no shelters in Tehran or anywhere else for Iranian people for such an attack. But the Iranian government has spent a lot of money building shelters. But not in Iran. But in Gaza. Okay. And not even for the Gazan people, but it's for Hamas. So this government has spent a lot of money building shelters in Gaza, but right now the Iranian people, they have no shelters when the bombs are being dropped on top of their heads. This is insane. This is insane. I don't know if this is okay. I don't know if this has ever
The
happened
funny
within
thing
other
is that
countries.
some of them are like in their houses for real. Like some of the like IRGC officials and stuff. Like they are also sleeping in their houses. Like that's how much they trust Israel. Like
Right.
not attack
Yeah,
civilian areas. They're like,
right.
okay, we'll just chill here. So our entire trust and hope is on Israel to just spare us. Like
Yes,
even
yes.
though you're just
I saw a video. I saw a video from somebody in Iran recording the missiles coming in, and the guy was like, "I'm eating ice cream. I'm not worried. We have faith in you, Netanyahu." Hit them hard. So
honestly like I like nothing about the war like stresses me out as much as like it just not getting to the conclusion that it needs. Like I just
right.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way, guys, no more super chats anymore because we have already so many super chats to go through, and I think I've already exhausted Golsa more than I should have. So no more super chats, okay? So MT saying, I know it's hard choice to make, but this is the first opportunity in 46 years. You guys might not get another one. Yeah, I mean, I'm making that argument on the Persian channel over and over again. MT, I know, like I agree. Also, MT saying maybe Israel needs to free the political prisoners in lockup and they can kick things off. They'll probably be willing to take the risk. No, like yeah.
No.
What goes
No. Our
Why?
political prisoners, no man. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
No, honestly, like I would be happy if they get freed. Like, it's not that I'm against it.
yeah.
I'm just like based on the things I know, I wouldn't necessarily say our political prisoners are more likely to kick things off.
Well, depends on which one. Like
Which
maybe
one?
Fatima Saperi is a good option, but Nargis Mohammadi is like
She's not, she's free
depends on
now
who.
in a shelter,
Oh,
but
she's free. Yeah. Which
she's
shelter?
literally in a shelter. I don't know, maybe with Khamenei somewhere.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Yes.
but maybe like if you're talking about political like I wouldn't want because like there's all kinds of political prisoners, you know. There are some people who
Right.
just like wrote
MEK.
something on their yeah there's some people just wrote something on their Facebook, they're political prisoner. And then there's someone who's like a leader of terrorists.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. No. We what we need is right now Israel is bombing Basiji and Niri and Tazami bases. That's very helpful, right? So I think that's what we need the most, right? MT is saying reach out. Oh, so here's a suggestion for what an American could do to help. is reach out to local news, get Reza on our TVs, share his videos on social media, reach out to podcasts. Exactly, that's a good
Yeah.
suggestion. Yep, and you could just follow Reza Pahlavi also on his all his accounts on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and just share his posts. And yeah, if you could get your local news to invite him, that would be as great as well. I mean, he's already getting a lot of invites right now. Ash saying, "My fellow Iranians, despair will not do us any good. Despair is what Islamic Republic wants to strike into your hearts." Yes, Golsa, your Ash is right. You have to be happy because if you're sad, you're making the Islamic Republic happy. Okay, so you have to defeat the Islamic Republic by being happy. Okay, try to be happier.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I don't think after this war, if I'm just happy, they're gonna be defeated. So, like, I wish.
yeah. All right. Susanna just gave us the CEO of Atheist Republic just gave a super chat to Atheist Republic. Thank you, Susanna. We don't pay our CEO. Our CEO pays us. This is crazy. Okay, Susanna, but the super chat saying, I know lots of Iranian Americans that work with their local politicians to recognize Pahlavi. If they can recognize MEK, they can support Reza for transition. Yes, if they yeah, because unfortunately a lot of people might not know this, a lot of a lot of Republicans unfortunately support the MEK. So I mean, if they can't do that, if they have done that, they could also support Reza Pahlavi instead. I mean, that's what we have to do. We have to change that support, right? But yeah, Susanna. By the way, Susanna is speaking from experience because Susanna has effectively lobbied a U.S. senator to sponsor the MASO Act. So Susanna she has experience with this. She has successfully done some lobbying herself, so she knows what she's talking about. But by the way, also thank you, Susanna, for your service. That was very helpful, right? So Ash is saying, be reminded of the resilience and steel-mindedness of folks like Prince Reza Pahlavi. Despite all the ups and downs, he never has given up on Iran and never will he. Yeah. So be more like Reza Pahlavi, also. What do you think?
He's a prince. There's a difference with
There's a difference.
your
Yeah.
friends. And you're just someone who like has no possibility of like getting anywhere if you don't go back to Iran. There's a difference.
Okay. Ash is saying, be resilient. Okay, Ash, that this land has withstood much worse than this before. Yeah. So some hope
I
for you.
don't think it has.
Uh, yeah, not like this. You think this is the worst, worse
Mhm.
than worse than the Mongols? Okay.
Of course, Mongols didn't have missiles.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a lot of ammunition, you know.
Okay. Yer bin Eri. Yeah, actually, you're right. This is the worst. These people have been worse than the Mongols. Yeah. Yer bin Eri saying, Golsa, never give up. You are important. Find the goodness within. You all have to, and reconnect with your roots. It's a spiritual war. Never give up. So a lot of people are cheering you on right now. A lot of people are wanting you to, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay.
I appreciate it, but it's just like, yeah, doesn't change anything.
So, yeah, basically, I think your view is right now like either I get my country and I'll be happy, and if I don't, then I'm not going to. None of
Yeah,
these.
because if I don't, like, it means that my friends will probably be killed, my family will probably be killed, you know? Like, I don't think that there will be anything anymore, you know? So,
Right.
I don't know, man. It's not easy to think about anything other than overthrowing them. If like anything else, and
Right.
I just don't think there is a survival anymore.
So there's no. So you basically, Goldstars' position is right now is that positive messages are not going to help. It's either free Iran or death, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. MT is saying it would be it would be full circle. Sarah saved the purple. They return the favor. Yes, a lot of people, exactly. A lot of people are pointing that out. We're almost done with the super chats, guys. No more super chats, please. GA saying Golsa and Iranians. Trump needs to make a show of peaceful resolution for the citizens of United States. They don't want a long-term war. Understandable, but misguided. Don't lose hope. Yeah, guys, for once I'm trying to hope that the whole Trump is doing a 4D chess, blindfolded 4D chess, upside down underwater move, and this is all a trap. You know what, for once I want to actually believe that, and hopefully he's not going to actually do a deal and he's going to help Israel to topple the regime. So let's see what happens. Empty saying they're Marxist, communist, progressives. Yes, so I mean, progressives in quotation marks, because you cannot be a Marxist and progressive at the same time. If you're a Marxist, you're a regressive, you're not a progressive, but they call themselves progressives. MT is saying blanket term leftist. Yes, okay, leftist is not for all people with left-leaning views. Leftist is basically the Marxist and woke left, right? So that's what we call leftists, yeah, right? And also MT, you gave us so many super chats today, MT, thank you. See, this Gosa, this is why you should become a YouTuber. I was trying to get Golsa becoming to come on YouTube. So maybe guys, tell Golsa that if she starts a YouTube channel, you will become a fan. I will advertise the shit out of your channel if you start a YouTube channel. Okay, so
I'm afraid of getting suspended on YouTube too. To be
really,
honest, I've been suspended
okay.
everywhere.
Okay, so Golsa has been kicked out of Instagram and YouTube and other places for
No,
her
I haven't
anti-Islamic
been
thing.
suspended off YouTube, but I'm afraid if I
Yeah.
speak out my mind here, I will be.
No, no, no. YouTube is better these days. YouTube is better these
Is
days.
it?
Like you just have to be careful about a few things and you'll be fine. Yeah. It's less sensitive than Instagram.
Okay.
MT is saying they're not armed from the rockets. They estimated 800 to 4,000 people will be lost from this, but went ahead. I'm Jamaican American, by the way, not Israeli. Okay.
They're
So I
not
think
armed
you're
from the. Yeah, it's talking about like Israelis not being armed against the rockets. Yes, yes, but they have shelters. We don't, and they have the Iron Dome.
Israelis have lost so very much less than they anticipated during this war. They were ready. Israel, when they started the attack on the regime, they were ready for a lot more casualties. They're actually very impressed with themselves about how they managed to
I'm
reduce their
impressed with
casualties.
the regime, with how
Yeah.
skilled they are in their attacks. Yeah,
Yes.
this suck.
I, yes, yes.
I'm
Okay.
happy that they
I,
suck. Though. Like I'm glad that they suck.
yes. I mean, I knew they suck. I just didn't know they sucked this much. It's unbelievable how fast everything fell apart. Pedram with the super chat saying Iranians want a regime change ASAP. Yes, that's true. Most Iranians want that. And also Ash with the final super chat saying boo. I don't know what this is.
Buzzkill, talking
I don't
about
know.
me.
Oh, buzz.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry to
Okay.
kill your buzz, man. Like it's just my country on fire. No big deal.
There you go. I'm a
I'm really sorry.
yeah. Well, Golsa, like if you ever want to just like if you ever feel shitty, and I mean I don't know what helps, but let me know anytime if there's anything I can do, or if you just
Thank
want to talk
you.
or something. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Like you
it's
don't
okay.
have to talk. Yeah, we don't have
Let
to
me know
talk
if
live in front of
IDF
it.
trains any Iranians to go fight on the ground.
Yes. Oh, you were telling me before we go live that you would be willing to go into an
Yeah,
army and fight. Like you would actually want to
literally.
pick up. Would you like if IDF said like, Gosa, we want you. Here's a gun. Go fight. Will you go
I
fight?
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You seem to be eager. Like you were the way you were talking about it before the show. You seem to be like really eager to actually
It's
go
like
join the
honestly
fight.
a dream come true. What's better? Like I'm even like thinking of like if it comes to the revolution part and like people are rising up and stuff, then like I will just smuggle myself into the country and just join the protests, you know? So if like the IDF is like we're training Iranians abroad and go fight, am I crazy to decline that offer? and I will be safely smuggled in. So
Shit. That is something. I mean, I really admire your passion and your, for your country. That's true patriotism right there. Like I can see the love. Yeah. Yeah, guys, this is Iranian patriotism in display right now for you guys. You can see how much many Iranian people love their country so much that they cannot imagine living without it. Right? So, yeah. Okay. Guys, go again. Let me actually promote your Instagram account one more time, guys. Golsa's Instagram account, is the link to it is in the description, but here's also her Instagram ID. If you guys want to go look it up, this is it. Go follow her, go support her. I mean,
thank you.
it's in Persian, right? Like people here would not understand what you're
No,
saying.
I have
So-
English and Persian stuff. English too.
Okay. You have English too? Okay, fantastic. All right, good. All right. Gosa, again, thank you. Sorry, it's been like 4 hours of your time. I'm really sorry for taking that much of your time. I know you're tired. I apologize.
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Good night.
Honestly, like it's good to let it out rather than just think about it. You know.
Yes, it helps actually talking about it. I know.
Yeah,
All
especially
right,
because
guys,
I need
make
to
sure.
talk about it with my friends in Iran, and they're all disconnected. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we helped then. We
yeah,
helped.
for sure.
Okay, good. I feel better now because I feel like
No, you
it felt like
didn't
I was
make
bumming
me
you out.
decide that. No, you did. You were the reason I came to that conclusion about my own life.
Okay,
It's
no, I felt like I was bumming you out. I'm like, oh shit, what are you
no,
doing, Armin?
no,
Like,
that's
no.
like I think about that all the time. It's fine.
Okay, all right, okay, okay. I feel better now. Okay, thank you for saying that. Okay, okay. All right, guys, like the stream, share the stream, leave a comment, recommend Atheist Republic to your friends, to your enemies, to your pets, to anything that has consciousness. Okay, and also go check out Golsa. And until next show, bye. I'm Israel Kai and Javid Shah. Long live Iran. Okay. Oh, we got another super chat. God damn it. Join the stream late. My Iranian friend is my local shop. Also loves your content. Thank you, Armin. And as always, Basiji Kostananat. Okay, fantastic. That's good. I like that. Okay, thank you, and bye. Okay,
Bye.
bye.